Welcome back to the Lowe Down, the podcast that takes you inside every battle strategy and shocking moment from Fox's The Floor. I'm Zach, aka Trees, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host,
Devin B. Road Trip here, and trust me, we have a lot to break down, so much to break down before I break down on episode 8.
and Scary Terry's not with us today because unfortunately he found out what happens when you can't escape an escape room. But we have here with us today Ashley and Mountain Mike. Mike, you're becoming a regular on the show. Good to have you back. Ashley, welcome on the Lowe Down.
Hi there. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for having me.
So great to have. So, as usual, let's break down this episode of The Floor by the numbers. And I wrote them on my hand this time because I felt that was a good way to make sure. The numbers I actually want to highlight. 50 seconds. That was the deficit between Mike and his battle for Rom Coms, where he used the time boost. It's the biggest deficit in the history of The Floor because you used the boost and did not say a word. The final tally was 0 correct to 0 correct. I think that is a floor first, that literally no correct answers were said, and yet someone was declared the victory. But we had some other close battles, 3 to 4. That would be team duels. Once again, I was like, what was going on over there? Teen drama, I mean. I was calling it duels, but I looked at that as the nice age 40-year-old man I am, and I felt much like Clint. I was like, y'all don't know Dawson's Creek? Y'all know Degrassi? Come on now.
7-7.
I was so scared of that category just to realize, I could have competed very much with it. And the last number I want to leave us with is $20,000. A new person got $20,000, and it all started with Mike. Welcome back, Mike. How you feeling?
Oh, feeling great. I'm glad that episode's out of the way now. I've been dreading that one.
You had inherited rom-com, and you said in the last episode that you were scared because there's a lot of people around you. Mm-hmm. Just walk us through your rationale of why you made the decisions that you made. And full disclosure, America, he took the exact path I wanted to take. If he had went back on the floor, I was going to try to go to state quarters and reality competition shows to get to Mike for his rom-com. So kudos for you for ruining my plans, Mike. Kudos for you.
No, I think that was a lot of people's plans. That state quarters and competition shows were on a lot of people's radar. And it's, I knew I had to do something. I wasn't going to last 8 duels just trying to sit there and defend rom-coms. I knew I was going to get come for at some point. So it was kind of about getting the time boost, because I thought that might help me a little bit. It was more so about just like taking up a couple of duels so that I would have to defend less. And those were 2 easy ones that I thought I had on lock, were, going to be some easy victories for me. And I thought maybe that will push it out just enough that, I might be able to hold on. Turns out not to be the case, because Ashley decided to go for Shane, and Shane came for me. And had Ashley gone in a different direction, maybe I'd still be able to take home the 20K, but
it's my fault.
The first domino.
Yeah.
Not my problem.
So, Mike, I do want to ask you a question. When it came time to use that boost, I agree with the fact that you had to use it, because if you lose, you're out the 20 grand for sure.
Yeah.
But how did you feel during it when you just kind of stood there?
You could just see me like crying inside as it was happening. It got down to like 10 seconds. I'm just dying. Like, that was a devastating move. Not sure if the 5 seconds would have helped me out later on. Like, may have prevented Shane from coming for me. May have been able to pass once more and pull out a victory somehow. But yeah, having it go to waste like that was pretty brutal. It's just one of those things where, like you said, I couldn't go home with it in my pocket. I had to do it, and I really assumed that she would at least know a few. I thought anybody coming for me would have had the week to study. Would have at least known a few. So, I would say my rom-com knowledge was decent. I knew most of the ones that were up on the screen there looking back. But I knew like I was vulnerable in that category. There were plenty of people that could have beat me in that category, so I figured I had to use it, and I was planning to use it no matter what.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've said it at this point. We've seen 75% of the people on this panel battle. When you are up on that stage fright, that I don't even call it stage fright, your just brain goes blank. And when you see, classically, I think if you probably chat GPT prompt rom coms, Sleepless in Seattle is going to be in that opening mix. And to see it, and you could see she was like, oh yeah, that's Sleepless in Seattle. But now the domino is coming. Actually, didn't you say something like she lost it? I can't remember. It was a lot of commentary on the floor from us this episode.
Yeah, I think I commented on another duel, but that was hard to. I said, is this a joke to teen dramas? I felt really bad about that one. Sorry. It felt like a joke though because there were so like Gossip Girl, Gilmore Girls. I mean, just the classics. But I think it was a generation thing. Not to jump
Yeah,
around. But
and I think this was one of the few episodes where I think they incorporated a lot of our reactions on the floor of I don't remember any other episodes where they show so many of us answering the questions and like, can you please just say
Yep.
the answer? We're saying the answer. This is
Yeah.
the answer. And I think the funniest clip is when Laura says, say anything. And that just happened to be the
Say
title
anything.
of the rom com. It was like, just say anything. Say
oh
anything.
my gosh,
Yeah.
that's a
So
funny moment.
let's walk through it. We Mountain Mike, first duel he goes for is reality competition shows. Do pretty well on there. I think they under edited Anna Lee, but yeah, I'm not the editor. I think they should have gave her some more shine. I thought they would at least put a follower up on the screen or something. But anyway, we had that going. And then what might be the best duel of the night, state quarters. And you have to explain yourself, Mike, of why you're assaulting an old man in front of all of America.
It did kind of feel that way. But if it wasn't me, it would have been someone else. It's one of them ones where there's only 56 in the series between the states and the territories. Come to find, I didn't know this until afterwards that he didn't actually study the territories at all. Had I known that going in, it would have been even more confident about it. But I knew, having watched his previous duel, I knew I would be able to beat him on time. It's just a matter of speed. And so I was very confident that as long as I knew them, and really half of them show the shape of the state on it. So
Sure.
I only had to study like 20 of them really. So, to be honest, I woke up that morning and was like, let's look at some quarters and, did it that way. But, so it was pretty easy to study. So just coming down to time, I was more practiced up there. I was a little bit ready to just rattle them off. So
Yeah.
What duel number was that for you at this point?
so that was duel number 4 at that point.
You had won
Or
4 duels at that point.
Or that was 5 actually. That was 5. Yeah.
Pretty impressive work. Pretty
Yeah.
impressive work.
Wow. Yeah.
Ashley, did you also study quarters that day?
Absolutely not. No, sir. That's not my calling at all.
I think the finite aspect of it was like that was one of the things that I studied because it was more controllable than some of the other ones.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's true.
So
That's true.
And so I actually have a question because I think it's interesting. It's episode 8, Ashley. There is, at that point, 22 spots. You're one of the 22. So the probability of being randomized is great.
Yep.
What was your plan going into episode 8?
Going into episode 8, parades was on my mind. I had studied the other categories over time, but parades, I went, as I said in the episode, I went for the player I thought I could take out. I was like, I could take Shane in parades. I thought that parades was going to be literally parade. So Macy's Day, Pride, and I knew internationally, I knew every parade. And I was like, I got it. Like, I'm taking Shane out in this. Like, I got this. And then we get up there, and they're like, items from a parade, and I was just that's when I knew. I was like, wow. So every answer I got was just based on like common knowledge, my common knowledge really. But so yeah, I went for parades, and I was just gonna chill. No one was coming for me, so I was just gonna chill and coast it out.
Yeah.
So you're just gonna go parades and not go anywhere else
I was going
afterwards?
back to the floor.
Yeah. Parade yourself back to the floor.
Yeah.
Now, Ashley. No.
Alex. Okay, so Alex says he's a huge Beyonce fan. We saw his performance. He wasn't coming for me. He was like, "There's no way I'm going against you." So he was one of my biggest threats. Tony is a studier. I believe Tony had the study skills, and she had the experience because she had won a few duels. But I don't know. There were just a few threats, and I felt pretty good about them.
You can't trust anything Alex says, though. Like, whether he says he knows it or doesn't know it, he knows it.
That's true. He's a bluffer.
So now I got to backtrack because I don't want to call Boulder Dash a hogwash just yet, Ashley, because we were standing pretty close together for a good deal of time.
Yeah.
Looking at this, Mike beats reality competition shows. Bam. He takes out state quarters.
Yep.
He takes his happy tail back to the floor.
Yeah.
We see the drama of teens. We did not approve. We saw Amazon, where we knew that wasn't going the right way when she passed on Bat. And I was like, oh no.
That was a hard category, though. I thought that was a hard category.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be harder than what it was. Not saying it wasn't hard, but I was like, Bat, and then we was like, Parrot. Just say parrot. They don't want them. I think they overthought it because they was like macaw, red. I was like, no, you go too deep.
Yeah, that was rough.
So we saw the friends. We're gonna be friends to the ends. I can't wait to cut my friend's neck.
Oh my god. The backstabbing in that corner was just
they're the worst.
Something toxic over there.
At least the middle, we knew what was happening. We knew what was going on. And so Katina gets randomized. I really would like to know if she truly was doing a kamikaze mission at that point, because Ashley, I can't get your exact quote. You said something of the fact that is she just doing this to weaken?
Oh, I vaguely remember. What did I say? Yeah. I thought it again seemed like a joke. Like, yeah, this can't be real. But we felt her impact, and I have so much respect for that. Like, iconic. That was a really iconic moment.
Yeah. I think giving physics to Mike was quite impactful because it resulted in the opposite effect that Mike wanted.
Yes and no. I mean, to be fair, I felt better about physics than I felt about rom coms. Time booster not. And I think I did better on physics than I would have done in rom coms. To an extent, Shane was better, but I still think, there's a decent number of people I might have been able to beat in physics, or had I gotten a couple different questions. So I wasn't, mad about that. I was just kind of shocked by it, honestly, though, because just the whole speech, and it's like, I thought for sure she was going to go for medicine. She's talking about STEM and science and all this stuff. I'm like, she's going for medicine. That's what, that makes sense. And then she's going to keep her physics category and like get to battle in it. Because, at that point, if you beat someone else, then you hold your category, you're guaranteed to go, in your category. And so like that would have been a cool moment. Instead, it worked out the way it did. It just took me very off guard. And like, I kind of understand like, like you want physics to be a big category that kind of decides a big portion of the floor. But like, to me, it's like, why don't you want to do it yourself? So in that sense, it did seem kind of kamikaze-ish in that way. Like, do you really, are you here for it?
Yeah. I did talk to her a decent amount on the floor, and I think she did want someone to challenge her in physics. So I think she really wanted to go up against with physics. But
yeah, and that's what I'm like, had she beat someone that, that maybe she did feel best about rom-coms. I don't know. To me, it would have made more sense to go against something like medicine, where she probably feels a little bit better, than get to guarantee that she battles in physics. But
I think she's going after the money.
Yeah,
maybe.
Close enough to the end of the episode that maybe she could have held it. There's a whole other side that had yet to be randomized.
Yeah, so, and it's true. Maybe she thought as long as she named like one or two that maybe I didn't know any. That's a possibility.
Go big, go home. Yeah.
You catch it slipping, because if you go off the logic that Zach just laid out of Katina really wanting someone to challenge her in her category, what better way than to take a blob that's touching 10, and you hear me actually say it on the floor, constantly doing my numbers, even on the floor, 10 out of 15 of the people that hadn't been randomized now touch that spot. And so it was a great probability that she would have been able to defend physics and got the 20K if she just got past you. And then that leads me to the boulder dash that I'm calling on Ashley, because once Mike went back to the floor and you did challenge parades, I thought the plan, we had all collectively decided in our little spot to go after the parades, then to go after Mike. Because I thought that was the plan, Ashley. So
I wasn't looped in on the plan. I wasn't looped in on the plan. I had my own plan. Didn't pan out, but I did have a plan. I was like, I just got to win one. Just one. And then I'll coast. But glockenspiel, so what can you do?
First of all, I really want to know the difference between a xylophone and a glock. Is a glockenspiel just because it had like that second level, or
I think it's like some small nuance, like the material it's made out of. I think it's like wood versus metal or something. I had to Google it, and yeah, that one sticks with me.
I was angry about that one for you. My wife almost threw the book she was reading while passively watching. She was so angry.
Yeah. That was mad. I was mad about the trophy. That was the one
where
trophy
I was like,
how is trophy not acceptable? Also,
and then I said championship trophy too.
Yeah, you said championship trophy for a parades category, but
I just needed one of those. I feel like I just needed one of those. He stumbled in the middle, but then he got flowers as his bounce back. So that was an easy one.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, man.
Stupid Rose Bowl.
Right. Oh my God.
Parade. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I do say those small things kind of stick with you, because
the
way Rob comes up and he goes glockenspiel or wait. You
I'm like,
have to.
Are you looking at my weight, Rob? Clearly I don't pay that much attention to weight. Okay, maybe I should pay more attention to my weight. I was never gonna get that one.
Oh my goodness. And so that's why I was curious that 20K is for the taking. You wasn't even going to attempt to do physics, not even a little bit?
Nah. I was just so confident in my category. I was just too confident to take any risk outside of just trying to defend that.
Speaking of your category, how confident were you when other people did your category?
What do you mean?
I think we saw in another season quite the matchup when it came to Taylor Swift songs.
Yeah, like who would have wanted to take it on? Is that what you're asking?
That, or how did you feel about the match in general?
Oh, rough, hard to watch, painful. I was like, no, no.
I was like, this is exactly who she pictured doing this battle.
Yeah, this is what they didn't want. I felt the weight of the world. I was like, oh man, I lost it. I lost the plot. I lost the Beyonce plot. I mean, the Beyonce songs category was referenced in the first look. Like it's been a conversation throughout, and I know it's like riding on the heels of the Taylor Swift duel. So it could have been so epic. I would have taken. I would. Alex and I would have been a great duel. It sounds like Laura, she was saying that she was pretty ready for that. I think Tony would have even put up a good fight. I think I could have taken all of them. I know it's easy to say that in the seat that I'm sitting in, but based on even playing along, like I was just confident in the category.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish it was anyone else. Pretty much. Sorry, guys.
Hey, no, the piggyback off you, me too.
Yeah, this is a safe space.
Because
I'm in my company.
Because you can see me on the commentary where I'm clearly like, I hope she loses because that
Oh
means
yeah.
he has Beyonce.
Like, please give shame Beyonce. We're all coming from him. Oh my gosh. Just like one simple run through of the playlist would have done you all good. Like apparently.
I do all those songs. I was like, I'm good to go, baby. I'm
Cuff
good to go.
it. Cuff it. Come on now. It's out now. It literally starts with the word cuff. But it's a lot of pressure up there. I don't want to minimize it. Yeah.
I think they miss Sweet Dreams. I'm like, it said
Sweet
blank
Dreams was
dreams. I'm like,
yeah.
even if you don't know the Beyonce song, what word should
Would logically make sense. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. What y'all didn't see, and that's why I say Mike and Ashley, y'all affected my life drastically that match. I, I saw the duel and I was like, okay, Beyonce's up. 10 out of 15 is touching this territory. He's going back to the floor. And I said, trivia gods, if you could just do me this one thing and this one thing now, if you could just select me right now,
Wipe them
I would
out.
greatly appreciate it so I can bring 20K home to my baby girl. I have children. And look, and you never want to be callous where it was like, I'm doing it for my kids. And I'm like, what about my kids? I don't care. Hey, look, I'm like, I'm not about to all lives matter this right now. It's me.
Oh my gosh.
That's who I want to play. And so it was funny because I know I wasn't the only one because I do believe Kaylee was on her knees for that randomizer.
Once that episode, so she's
oh yeah, I forgot that when Mike was going against
that
Robin.
means her prayer didn't work twice that episode. Because she was also praying for me to go home.
Oh my gosh.
That one just took a while.
It just took a while, yeah.
He may not come when you want, but he's always on time. That's what happened.
I feel like that was the first time where you had like every single person wanting to get randomized. Was that last matchup?
Yeah.
Oh, and America, this is Lowe Down, where we get Lowe Down on the floor. Episode 8, we have now witnessed like Alex do what he did. We've witnessed Brian do what he did. And at this point, the nerves is kind of out. You're not scared to play. You actively want to play the game. And so I think everyone has now shifted. Like I said, Alex has shifted the atmosphere, or where I think people are more aggressive because even with Mariana taking out Girlie Island, she didn't have to do that. She could have won Amazon and went right back to the floor, but she went after Emily, who, surprise, surprise, speaks Korean. Didn't see that one coming.
Right?
So it's all these things of players are like, no, I'm going to stay up here. And I have a speech. Because I think before Alex did what he did, no one had a speech prepared. And now Mike comes with quips. my shirt is 10,000
10,000
shades greener.
I enjoyed that one.
Thank you from the king himself.
That's right.
And the beehive. I'm like, oh, everybody has something to say.
I am the beehive.
Oh yeah,
Oh my
I was thrown
goodness.
off by that one. I thought it was gonna ask like what concerts, like what, like very specific questions. It was so broad, like, oh, you're in the Beehive, like so broad. All right, we're doing it.
At least you didn't answer like I did, where he's like, "You ready for this?" I was like, "Yep."
All the puns you've been working on for weeks
Right?
and weeks, all to the
I was so
wayside.
focused on that one. Missed my best
Hold on one
opportunity.
second. Well, we've got to that point of the show where I get to ask our fellow guests what were your highlights, your lowlights, and who are your MVPs of the episode or the season, whatever way you want to say it. Ashley, you want to go first?
Ooh, okay. Highlights of the episodes themselves, right?
Of this
Or
episode. Let's
This
stick
episode.
with
of this
episode 8.
episode specifically. Ooh, physics, easy. Physics, feel my impact. I thought that was so bold. I thought that was so we like love the representation that was happening there. Loved that moment. I think that was like that was a huge moment in the history of the floor, let alone the episode. Lowlights, getting taken out by Shane. Period. That was hard. In parades and glockenspiel. Ouch. That one hurt. The only answer that I really beat myself up with is drum major. If I had studied the right stuff, I would have gotten that one. But glockenspiel, even the championship, maybe I would have said Super Bowl. But even I don't know. I can't. I gotta let that one go. That one I can let go. But yeah. And then what was it? What was the other part of your
MVP. Who do you think
MVP?
is the MVP of the floor right now? And this is based on everything you've seen.
Oh, I gotta give it to Alex. Like that was such a powerful move when he took on Housewives and the way he went about it, and it like he had a plan and he executed it perfectly, and it wowed the crowd, and it was such a great TV moment. I would say that's my MVP for entertainment and skill.
Mountain Mike laying down the claw. What you got?
Yeah, I mean, I think my highlight was my quarters one. That was one that I felt good about. Of all the duels I did, that was, by far my best one. So I was excited about that. At least I have something going for me, positive. Lowlights, same answer, getting taken out by Shane.
Ouch.
That one was rough. And like there were some easy ones I met. Laser, Tesla coil. I should have had those in my sleep, and I just totally blanked. Yeah, I don't think I would have ever gotten wavelength. Probably not weight, but so I should have done better on that. Last week I named Alex my MVP. I still think he's a good example, but one thing I saw this week was Tony is scaring everyone off. There were a number of times this episode where Tony could have been challenged and no one went for her. I think she's very, very scary with that time boost and anatomy and just, how fast she is. Everyone sees that. So time and time again, like there's only a couple people now that can really get randomized and take on Tony, I think. So she has a great chance of making it pretty far.
Yeah, the thing about Tony too is I feel like if she doesn't know it, she can learn it. She seems to be a good studier too. So she was one of my MVPs as well.
She's got that natural quickness too.
Yeah.
Maybe that young brain of hers, but
Not the young brain.
Yeah, no, she's sharp.
Yeah.
And Zach, who's your highlights, lowlights?
Highlights was comparing that maybe Mountain Mike might actually be the quarter expert, considering he deals with claw machines, and so it takes a lot of quarters. So he's probably the only expert of them truly on the floor. As far as lowlights, watching literally just not a single right answer in a battle was one of the is this real? And I think MVPs, Tony, you've got some sleepers. I think We can't forget about Megan and Chef over there in the corner. Tony was active early, but has been sitting there for a while because she scared people away. So I think we got a lot of people in the back part of the floor that are kind of people are forgetting about because all the action's up in the front right now.
Yeah.
So,
and the action has finally came to the middle. So close to your boy.
All right now.
I'm feeling the fire.
A little dancing dance on the little like what happens next episode.
Yeah. I got my little dance going on, and I want to say my highlight was a highlight to a low light. Is when Einstein was on the screen, and all you hear me say is, "Come on, man." It was so many times where I'm acting like I know the answer. I should be in that duel. It should be me, man. It should be me.
Yeah, that was the one time where he gave me some false hope that I thought I might have a chance in that duel.
Where he failed on Einstein, and then here he comes saying the formula to convert Fahrenheit to Celsius, and the crowd starts audibly clapping like, I never heard y'all applaud this whole dang game, and now you're applauding for this tomfoolery.
They're like, American shit.
Boo
no
that
Celsius.
man. Boo him. Oh man. My MVP, I think it's interesting because now I'm seeing how people are insulated, right? So I'm looking at Clint sitting good. I'm looking at that corner was like David and them on that side sitting good. And I'm like, you lucky so-and-sos to be insulated by these big blobs of people where no one will touch you. Because even Emily would have been is safe where she is now and doesn't have to really battle anyone until everyone's been randomized. And Lisa has gone 60-something duels since the very first episode, not being touched, not being discussed. Lisa is just there. But, that's the way the cookie crumbles.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us on the Lowe Down. Don't forget to like and subscribe anywhere you can find a podcast. And Devin with the email.
Yeah, and you can send in your questions to the Lowe Down on the floor. That's Lowe spelled like Rob Lowe, Lowe, who might come behind you and say, wait.